Hi Pisces, welcome to your May 2018 General Tarot reading. It's Rena, and going back to my Rider-Waite deck. Very nice, straightforward, yet symbolic. Lots of esoteric symbols that even I am still needing to learn about. But also colorful, which I think is so nice. And having different, look at that Devil card, the background of the Devil card, which has a lot of black. And then, compare it to the Nine of Cups, which has a yellow background. That's not, I'm sure that's not random, because yellow represents joy. Or actually, I mean, orange does. Yellow represents power. Who knows? But I'm sure there are some people who interpret it a certain way. Actually, yellow represents prosperity. And even though this is a card, the Nine of Cups is a card of, emotion, positive emotion, it does also connect with material well-being as well. And, you think about gold being yellow in color. So definitely with the Pentacles, we see that yellow. That represents the gold, okay? Speaking of which, this is the heart of the matter, actually. Four of Pentacles. So you are either, holding on for dear life to your money, but this is a card of money management. And you see even his, he's even got his shoes, holding on to the money with his feet. But it's actually a card of financial prosperity or security, I should say, is a better way of putting it. And in some cases, yes, it can be excessive even in the upright position. So it's a very practical energy any way you slice it. So that's what we have going on. And then we have, it's good though. We have as the counterpoint or the challenge, we have the Nine of Cups, which, as I say, is a card of, it can be a card of excess, but it's a card of wish fulfillment. However, this is in the challenging position, so it could be excess. So even though you may be having a lot of success, a lot of financial gain, maybe you are spending your money as fast as you get it. And so the Four of Pentacles could be that you're trying to hold on to it, but you keep spending it because you have this undisciplined streak in you. I'm just using that as a possibility. I'm not saying that that's what's happening. There could also be something connected to a drinking problem. Of course, no Pisces would ever experience that. I'm half joking, but Pisces, because it's a water sign and because Neptune is the ruler, they always are advised to watch out for anything, not just alcohol, anything that leads to escapism, because you are a very creative and spiritual sign. And so the world can seem extra harsh to Pisces. And so with the Nine of Cups, it's like getting what you want, but is it really what you need? And so money somehow is playing into this. It'll be different for all of you. And maybe there's even another water sign that you're dealing with who's spending your money. That's always a possibility. But let's look at the card. Now, that Nine of Cups might be somebody else, because this is a great card to have at the base of your reading. Strength card. Kind of leading the way, informing the Four of Pentacles. So maybe your self-esteem is rising and you are realizing that you can build your foundation very firmly. One thing I should mention with the Four of Pentacles is not to just consider it as dollars and cents. I mean, this could even be with a relationship where in the past you were willing to just be less choosy, and you realize now that when you do that, you're like, that's where the instability comes in, because you have to start things on a good foot. And the way that you do that is finding a person who you really are on the same page with. And you know how some people, they just find themselves in these whirlwind relationships where it's like, it seems so exciting and everything like that, but it's totally unstable. And those types of relationships tend to come and go so quickly because the person is not doing it in a way that is very, what's the word? Intentional, but conscious, like a conscious decision to be in a relationship and to be methodical about it and to treat it like, because that's what the Pentacles, it's treating it like, it's like you're putting those bricks in the foundation of building this house, or in this case, this relationship. Now, another thing too is that if this is something related to work conditions, I think that you're getting what you are worth. And perhaps in the past, there was this tendency to be very unconscious about, maybe you were not even very serious about your financial situation, and you tended to, I think this is, yeah, I don't really think of it in terms of a particular job itself, more of your spending habits. So basically, with the Nine of Cups in reverse, there could be like shopping addiction, and now you realize, and you have the willpower, you know, the Strength card could be also willpower, and you have that to be able to save your money, and so that's really good. The spiritual message is the Four of Cups, and for love relationships, again, I'm sensing that there might be a Cups person, another water sign. If not a Pisces, then Scorpio or Cancer, who may have interest in you, but you don't have interest in them. Whether you're currently with them or not, it's really not important. The main thing to be looking at is the fact that it's coming to you, but you see the person's arms are closed, so they're not receiving it. And it's because it's from the cloud is handing it to that person. Their eyes seem almost closed or downcast, and there's three cups right there that represent love right in front of them, and then the universe is offering it. So it might be that you're closed off to love altogether, but also it can be that it's possible that some Pisces people have a hard time loving someone who loves them, you know, and this goes back to that, you know, the Strength card is about self-love ultimately, because that's where your inner confidence comes from. It's not about physical strength, it's not about not being, you know, not crying, not being able to cry, or not being able to be vulnerable, but about loving yourself enough to ask for what you need and also to give it to yourself. Now, with the cups, we're looking at someone who is presenting you love. Now, it is true that just because somebody is interested, let's say romantically in you, doesn't mean that you're obligated to return the affection to that person. But if there's a pattern of you being turned off to people that are very positive about you, and you tend to chase the people that are disinterested, then yeah, that is definitely something that you need to turn around. But I'm thinking that since the Strength card came up, it's more of an ability for you to be discerning, where even though you're presented with love, you're able to still say, well, I'll decide whether or not I have the same feelings for this person. And the other thing about this card, it's a 4, just like the 4 of Pentacles. So it could be something stable, where you're looking for it if you don't have it already. And that spiritually would go along with that 4 of Pentacles, actually. I didn't say this before, but it's possible that this person has earth energy. So that would be Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. And actually, I'm trying to think here. Well, you know, your opposite sign is Virgo, so that's always a possibility. Now, you're compatible with Earth. You have a lot in common with it. So, Vice is the Page of Wands, and it's about starting a new endeavor, whether it's a relationship or maybe your own business, a job that really feels, you can feel it, that it's exciting to you. Maybe in some cases this is the way that you determine whether or not that's the direction you should go in, as if it makes your heart sing, makes you feel eager to do it. Again, the Leo, that could be a sign that you're with even. So maybe that Page of Wands is the beginning stages of a relationship with a Leo individual. And Leo and Pisces are very, very different. That is for sure. And as such, these two signs have a lot of adjustment to make in order to understand one another. But you may meet such a person in a setting that would be like an artistic setting. So if you both are singers, it might be like an open mic night, or maybe it's at a party or a club. Those are places that you might find a Leo person and a Pisces person, where there's entertainment, where they are creating. So that may be where you have common ground. But there's also, this is a card of good news. So you may be receiving some good news, and this is very happy news for you. I didn't say, you know, with the Nine of Cups, you may be involved with somebody who's an alcoholic. And if that's the case, Pisces, I wouldn't be surprised. I think a lot of Pisces people tend to, you know, not really think that it's such a big deal if somebody drinks too much, and they realize after the fact that it's a serious matter, and by then they may have been already starting to cope with those that person's behavior, and then they get sucked into their, you know, whatever's going on with them, their drama. But in any case, there could be something that makes you feel a sense of relief. Like you may feel like you're going to be out of that situation if you feel like stuck. Because I think that some Pisces people have been raising their self-esteem, and I think it started when, in the last few years, when, or you could even go back 7 years. So this would be, I don't know the exact year, but probably around 2010 or somewhere along those lines, or at least in the last few years, because you've had Chiron in your sign. Now it's moving on to Aries, but I think that some Pisces have really done healing, have had healing that has occurred, and then likewise, you've recently had Saturn and Sagittarius in your 10th house of career. So you may have had career advancement, and that raised your self-esteem, as well as healing emotional wounds from your past. And now you see other people in a different way. You may have had kind of like an overly idealized vision of that person. And now you realize, wow, the Four of Cups, maybe you're disappointed in that person and you're disinterested in them now. Maybe you've fallen out of love. But the Page of Wands is that now you have communication with somebody that's very positive. And, but it really looks good for career. I feel like there's a sense of independence with you. What is coming in is represented by the High Priestess, and this could indicate some kind of revelation that is made. It may come in a roundabout way, where you find out something about your current partner or somebody that you're seeing that you're dissatisfied with. But it's good, because if it's something that surprises you that you didn't know, like let's say they're married and you thought they were single or something like that, it allows you to have an excuse to end the relationship. Because I'm sensing that for some of you, you're feeling that you've outgrown something. And this could, let's see, I'm trying to think about, well, it's interesting because there's going to be a full moon in that career sector at the end of the month on the 29th of May in Sagittarius. So that could be a time when you are like, wow, this is, you may hear something that really surprises you about career matters, or the place where you're working even. Maybe you've been feeling a sense of, deserving more. And with the Four of Pentacles, you may even be very intent upon building your wealth. And you feel like you can't do it there. And then you maybe find out somebody else who's in the same position is making more money than you are. The High Priestess could be about information that is being withheld from you. Now, I did get this. I'm going to pick an additional card because I don't usually like to end with the Devil card. Not that it's like so terrible, but it just doesn't, to me, lend itself for the ending, because it could be, to me, this is the cautionary ending. The Devil card is about choosing, I would say, material gain over personal fulfillment. With the Page of Wands, your excitement is coming from knowing that you'll be able to express your creativity. And so you might be feeling that there's some opportunity that you have to be able to communicate to others in a way that is very creative. And yet you're in this mindset that is very, like, maybe obsessed with money, and that's kind of echoed in the Devil card, which can be about any compulsive behavior as well as greed. And greed is bad, when people do things against other people because they're being greedy, but think about what they do to themselves. Sometimes people are willing to degrade themselves for money. And that means part of the degradation is to be in a workplace that is not really honoring their talents, maybe is downgrading them in some way, and all for the almighty dollar, right? And sometimes they can be like, their self-esteem can be lessened. I think with that Strength card is that you're not going to tolerate that type of behavior much longer, and you're in the process of really strengthening your sense of self. But it's kind of like an ongoing process. I feel like May is a watershed month for Pisces, where there's a lot happening. Obviously, this is a general reading, though, so don't put too much stock in it. It's kind of thematic, you know, that's how I look at these tarot readings, and if certain cards just don't seem to resonate, then that would make sense because there's so many Pisces in this world and you're each on your individual journey. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below and where I use your natal chart. I do want to mention this additional card though, and this is the King of Wands. I picked it just because the Devil card to me is not really a great place to end it. That's not how you want to act. And the King of Wands is really a card of self-empowerment. A card of really being somebody who is, I think Amazon is here for me. But yeah, so hopefully you can choose wisely. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to get the doorbell, and good luck to you, Pisces. Take care. Bye.